The American people did not know, at least many of them, did not know that the richest man in the world would be taking all of our information as retribution to go after the companies and the people that he says did him wrong. America did not know that Donald Trump was going to give concessions and give Vladimir Putin anything and everything that he wanted. We hear from MAGA Republicans all the time that Donald Trump is tough on Russia, right? Tough on Vladimir Putin. Obviously, that's not true. But over the course of the last several days, we had this guy Fogel come home, which I think we all could agree is a good thing. However, I've been saying for days now, what did Donald Trump give Putin in return? And as soon as I found out, and we all found out, that Trump was being mum and the White House wasn't saying what the concessions were, and Donald Trump said, well, we didn't give him much. And when I learned that they were keeping this quiet and they weren't telling the American people, unlike Joe Biden, I became concerned, and I told you on the air yesterday, this is not good. He caved to Vladimir Putin. And as the minutes go by, we're learning that's true. What did he give up? Well, there's something called a tell in poker, where you can tell if somebody's lying. Before the negotiations really have even happened in a serious manner yet, Donald Trump told Pete Hegseth to say Ukraine shouldn't be getting back into NATO, which was the plan all along for Vladimir Zelensky. But the reason why Putin invaded Ukraine, besides being a bully and a murderer, is Putin wanted some land, and he wanted to make sure that Ukraine didn't get back into NATO. That was the whole reason why he did this to begin with. And he didn't care about the loss of life, whether it be his own people or people in Ukraine. This is exactly what Donald Trump gave Putin. Putin got exactly what he wanted from America. And in essence, our own government and our own leadership and Donald Trump is rewarding an evil, murderous dictator from going into one of our allies' nations and killing a bunch of innocent people. John Bolton is a guy that would agree with me, and I think John Bolton knows a little bit more about this than most people in the world. And John Bolton said on CNN yesterday that effectively Donald Trump surrendered to Putin.
And President Trump has effectively surrendered to Putin before the negotiations have even begun. The positions that Defense Secretary Hegseth announced in Brussels, which I'm sure I'd be stunned if Trump didn't convey them directly to Putin in their phone call, constitute terms of a settlement that could have been written in the Kremlin. Maybe they were written in the Kremlin and got out in propaganda channels. But it's a complete reversal of the U.S. and NATO position on a number of issues. For example, up until today, the official American position was that Ukraine should be returned to full sovereignty and territorial integrity. That's gone. The question of NATO membership as far back as 2008 had been that ultimately Ukraine would become a NATO member. That doesn't look like that's around anymore either.
There you go. I agree with Mr. Bolton 150%. See, because Bolton, say what you want about him, he is telling the truth. Donald Trump doesn't like that. That's why he took his security clearance away. So for a guy that many on the far right say is the toughest on Russia, Vladimir Putin is not just going to give up a prisoner for nothing in return. And once again, a world leader has played Donald Trump. Just like the president of Mexico, when Donald Trump threatened the 25% tariffs and she said, we'll give you 10,000 troops at the border, Donald Trump didn't even know that there have been 15,000 troops at the border. Just like with Trudeau, when he threatened 25% tariffs on Trudeau, and Trudeau promised Donald Trump what he already announced under Joe Biden, which was $1.2 billion for border security. He was played by Trudeau. He was played by the president of Mexico. But now, even more dangerous, he's being played by Vladimir Putin. And while all this is going on, the way Fox News is handling this and other right-wing entities is an embarrassment. Listen to what Jesse Waters said about Donald Trump in dealing with world leaders last night.
At all. And so Trump is, despite what people say about him, a true humanitarian. He places such a priority on human life. You got the Gaza hostages, you got the Russian hostages, you got the Venezuelan hostages. Almost immediately. Mm-hmm. And remember what we did with Otto Warmberg. It's also the MAGA movement. It's also fighting fentanyl. All of these things are about cherishing and saving human lives. And he doesn't get a lot of credit for that.
Well, first of all, why don't you pronounce his name right, you stupid rat weasel fool, Jesse Waters, you idiot, you imbecile. It's Otto Warmbier, not Otto Warmber, you frickin' moron. Secondly, preserving life. Otto Warmbier was sent back as a vegetable, okay? He was basically dead. He was brain dead. And we're supposed to praise Donald Trump, who, by the way, took the side of Kim Jong-un when asked, did you have anything to do with this? We're supposed to be led to believe that a young kid just out of college or still in college, that was just a natural thing that happened to his body, and Donald Trump took the side of Kim Jong-un, and we're supposed to praise him for that? You stupid fool, you. You imbecile. How dare you? Why don't you pronounce the kid's name right, you fool? And then there's three-toe, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yeah, we all know her. She's claiming, like so many on the far right are claiming, this is what we voted for. First of all, I didn't vote for it. Most of the country did not vote for it. But somehow those who voted for Donald Trump voted for this? Concessions to Vladimir Putin? Threats and taking over Gaza? Hamas doesn't like that very much. This is what, quote, we voted for? This is what Three Toe had to say about that.
I completely agree with you, Sean. Elon Musk is giving our entire country an inside look at the actual fraud, waste, abuse that's been going on for decades. And Americans are cheering and cheering and cheering. You know, everyone did vote for this. This is exactly what we voted for. This is what we campaigned for, and this is what President Trump promised to the American people.
Absolute nonsense. The American people did not know, at least many of them, did not know that the richest man in the world would be taking all of our information as retribution to go after the companies and the people that he says did him wrong. America did not know that Donald Trump was going to give concessions and give Vladimir Putin anything and everything that he wanted. America did not know that Donald Trump was going to piss off the world. Some of us did, but maybe not all of us. America did not know this. America did not know that the president of Mexico, Trudeau, and Vladimir Putin would play him like a fiddle the first 3 weeks of his administration. America, at least those who voted for Donald Trump in America, thought that he was going to bring down the price of gas, that he was going to lower inflation. Turns out the opposite is happening. And it's only going to get worse with these tariff threats around the world.